Alright, boom. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of The Prime Tells. This is me, your boy, La Prima, La Prima, La Praca, the one and only El Showington. Ski, yeah. Cool. So, on today's episode, we're going to be talking about my day one copper thoughts. So, I call it, what I like to call the day one cop. Yes, so this is my new kind of segment where I talk about my game reviews and games I bought on day one and how I feel about them. Simple as that. And today we're going to talk about Final Fantasy, Crystal Chronicles, Remastered, and I played it on the Nintendo Switch. Cool. Alright, cool. So really and truly, I'm going to tell you up front that Crystal Chronicles Remastered is pants. And I'm going to tell you why. Let me give a bit of context behind my gameplay, my session, and me playing it all, etc, etc, etc. So firstly, it's my first time playing the Crystal Chronicles series. All my friends are like, yeah, this is going to be great. I remember it on Game Boy Advance, we had to use link cables, so I'm looking forward to the multiplayer functionality, and there's different classes and races that you can do, so Selkie, Clavat, whatever the rest are, like you can say whatever in it. But I was like, so obviously they gassed me. I was like, yeah, dog, I'm involved. I want to be that guy. You know me, I'm the long range fighter, the one and only soldier, slinging magic, Kyuraga, you know what I mean, Thundaga, Firaga, and obviously clean. So I was like, yeah, let me be a mage, let me get into it. So obviously it was like 25 quid on the PlayStation, on the Nintendo store, and I had £5 left on my Nintendo's account. I was like, you know what, 20 quid, so still, you know what I mean, get in there day one, get it sorted. That's where the problems began. Now, I'm going to keep it real with you and I'm going to go into some gameplay now actually at this point. I'm just going to hold on, wait for it. Okay, cool. So let me just get into right into it, drop out real quick, ASAP immediately, yeah. So, the story doesn't really have much of a kind of like a linear plot going through it, and it doesn't seem to be there's going to be one at any point throughout the game. Fairly simple. When you start off, you've got to create your own character, and you can be one of 4 races. That's a Uke, a Selkie, a Clavat, and I can't remember the last ones off the top of my head. But anyway, yeah, so they each have different variations. Obviously, higher strength, some are balanced, some have higher speed, and obviously some have higher magic. So I chose the class that has the magic, and obviously there's genders between male and females, and some small kind of degree of variation in terms of 4 classes, like 4 cosmetic changes between the classes, yeah? Fine, that's the intro, yeah, simple as. Now let me get to why I didn't like it. So, as I said, my friends were like, yeah man, get the game bro, like it's gonna be a great multiplayer experience. And that is where my gripes begin. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, the original one came out on GBA, and obviously everyone using link cable back then. There wasn't this wireless functionality that was out and that most people kind of make use of right now. So every game that I expect that has a multiplayer aspect will make the use of this multiplayer functionality and try to make it as smooth an experience for the game player as possible. Not this time. Crystal Chronicles said, let's make it difficult. So the difficult part is that you can't really invite friends from your friends list. You have to become friends with them within the game. And to become friends with someone, they have to follow you and you follow them back, kind of like Twitter. And then, even then, that's just the friend basis, and that's really, again, just a lot more seeing what you're doing more than anything else. And then, add on top of that, when you go into a dungeon, you have to have a dungeon ID, like a specific lobby ID, which you then send to your friends and they can join. 2 is that, so it's a dungeon crawler in the sense of the game. Like, you go from area to area, and obviously upgrade your weapons, upgrade your armor, etc. Right, so the multiplayer experience is where a lot of this game falls down, and the main reason is because after you complete a dungeon, the kind of 2 options it gives you is either to disband the party, fine, or to continue. And when it says continue, basically says replay the dungeon. Why would I want to do that? Like, why would I want to replay a dungeon that I've just done? I should tell you why you want to do that. Is because there is no such thing as shared progression through dungeons with the people that you're in the lobby with. Yes, so if you're playing with 4 of your friends, you have to complete that 1 dungeon 4 times for every single person to get progression. Headache. Headache, headache, headache. Paracetamol, extra, extra. Yes, you heard me. For you to complete a dungeon once, only registers as completion for the lobby leader. So like I said, if you're playing with 4 friends, you have to complete it every single time for the 4 friends. And the loot drops, yeah, they're great. And the artifacts, yeah, they're great. Again, RPG elements involved. But as a whole, that multiplayer aspect leaves the game falling severely short of an enjoyable playable experience. So that was my biggest gripe. Single player, however, is a lot more fun. But the problem with single player is that you can easily get swarmed by enemies. And obviously the difficulty spikes in dungeons in this game. I think there's 13 dungeons from start to finish, including some post-game dungeons, which are slightly stronger, which are new in the remaster compared to the original. And they are a nightmare. So basically what Screens have said, play story mode by yourself, complete the main story, and then play with your friends. Oh, but on top of that, do you know what they've said? They said, if you're too far ahead of your friends, you can't play with them. So you're kind of if you're locked in that area like I was, so I progressed a little bit further than my friends first. So I completed the first year without them, and then I progressed a little bit further than a couple of them. And I was locked until I completed a dungeon that was immediately in front of me to change, to kind of go back to the area that they were in. And to do that was another 20-minute task in itself, by which point my friends might have just done their own dungeon and just done their own progression, because clearly, you know, I'm going to have to do my own stuff, and that's really annoying, especially when you're trying to do this multiplayer aspect. I think a lot of multiplayer is lost within this game, a lot of drop in and drop out. Like, if I'm being honest, it's just not well thought through. It's not coherent, it's not seamless, and it's not to the standard of multiplayer games, especially that game that's cross-functional, that it sits on PS4, mobile, and on Switch. It's not seamless. I can't do back-to-back lobbies. If I have a party, I have to disband it and then reset the next dungeon. It just does. It's not intuitive. So as a whole, I believe the game's going to need a day 1 patch to fix and bring it up to at least a playable standard for long-term enjoyment. If you're saying this game is multiplayer, most people play multiplayer games for a while. No one plays multiplayer games for what, 15 minutes? Do you know what I mean? With the original campaign story being 20 hours, you want to create that multiplayer replayability. And without having fixed such issues as inviting players from your friends list, or creating lobbies that are going to be continuous, or shared progression at the basic level, you're going to lose a lot of people from day 1. And personally for me, I might be lost from day 1. I'm going to give it a try and kind of get back into it. But honestly, for me, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles is not an insta-cop, it's not a cop ability, it's not a day 1 cop. I think until they patch it, I don't believe I would recommend you guys picking it up. And out of 10, max a 4 or 5 out of 10 for me. But yeah, that's all from me, guys, man. That's like, please, like I said, not like I said, but please guys, like, subscribe, share the content. If you've played the game, if you want to play the game with me, please let me know in the comments below. If you disagree with my thoughts, let me know in the comments below. I generally think the game is not that great, and out of 10, if I was forced to give it a rating out of 10, currently, based on day 1, definitely a 5 out of 10, no more than that. More than that is pushing it. For other Switch games that have great online capabilities, Splatoon, do you know what I mean? I just can't see why they'll do a multiplayer system and make it so primitive. I understand it's a remaster, but you could do better. But that's it from me, guys. Me, your boy, La Prima, La Prima, La Placa Vera, aka El Show, to the one and only Shoo! And that's all for my day 1 reviews, aka compatibility.